Honeybees live in the temperate grassland ecosystem where it is predominantly grass, which includes the presence of a few hundred species of flower. The abiotic factors of the temperate grassland are the weather and temperature, which directly dictate the biotic factors like the honeybees and butterflies by influencing their daily productivity. The sun, soil, air, and water are also abiotic factors that are essentials to the biotic factors like the oak trees, sunflowers, coyotes, red fox, and hawk.
A single honeybee is on the first level, which is called individual. Here, that one single honeybee is an individual that is restricted to itself, which means it can't have any form of interaction with the world around it. The next level is the population, where it adds on to this single honeybee as it can interact with multiples of its kinds, which can be defined as a bee colony or swarm. In the population level, the honeybees can mate and interact with each other, but it is still confined to its own specific species. On the next level is community, where the colony of honeybees can interact with the other different living species other than its own in its environment, such as butterflies and flowers. After the community level, there is the ecosystem level where it allows the colony of honeybees and other living species to interact with non-living components in their environment like the air temperature and water around them. These distinct components form the biome, which is the next level. Here the honeybees, butterflies, flowers, soil, and air constitute the temperate grassland biome. On a larger scale, all the biomes, ecosystems, communities, populations, and individual establish the biosphere. Thus, the biosphere as the last level.
In this food web, the producers are the creosote bush, coneflower, sunflower, oak tree, and elderberry shrub. The primary consumers are butterfly, honeybee, caterpillar, cricket, beetle, ground squirrel, jackrabbit, and deer, which eat the producers. The secondary consumers are sparrow, red fox, owl, and gray wolf, which eat the primary consumers. The tertiary consumers eat the secondary consumers, and they are the snake and hawk. Lastly, the decomposer is the bacteria that consumes all the producers and consumers. In the food web, there are multiple food chains. For example, the simplest food chains are highlighted in red and blue. In the red food chain, the elderberry shrub is consumed by the deer, which is consumed by the gray wolf. And when the gray wolf dies, it gets consumed by the bacteria. The blue highlighted food chain starts with an oak tree that produced nuts for the ground squirrel to eat. Yummy, and the ground squirrel eaten by the red fox, and the red fox get consumed by the bacteria in the end. The green highlighted food chain is the longest food chain, where it starts with the sunflower that gets eaten by the cricket, which gets eaten by the sparrow that gets eaten by the snake. And that does not end there, as the snake gets eaten by the hawk that eventually get consumed by the bacteria. Together, the red, blue, and green make up a complex food chain.
In the ecosystem, the relationship between the carrying capacity and population is to be understood in order to help conserve the honeybees' declining population. If the honeybees' population increased and exceeded the carrying capacity, their food source and other necessity may decrease, which may consequently result in the bee population to decline again. Therefore, having the honeybees' population at the carrying capacity is key to their preservation, because every honeybee can get enough food and other resources, and not only that, but the birth and death rates become stable.
Here is a line graph that shows the catastrophe of parasitic mites that were introduced in the US during 1987. After the parasitic mites were introduced to the honeybee population, about 80% of the honeybee were affected, which results in the use of the term colony collapse disorder when referring to the disruption of honeybee colonies. The two situations that demonstrated when the honeybee exceeded the carrying capacity is when there is a decrease in parasitic mite population and the use of neonicotinoids. Parasites like the Varroa destructor are the most detrimental to the honeybee, as it feeds on the fatty organs of the honeybee and eventually infected it with deadly viruses. Like the parasites, the neonicotinoids are harmful as the pesticides kill the honeybee instantly or slowly even when in a small dose. If those factors are eliminated, the honeybee will exceed the carrying capacity. As a result of that, the environment will not have enough resources to sustain the growing population and begins to run out, which brings in imbalance to the ecosystem, and soon the honeybee will die off again in large amounts of number.
There are many ways to conserve the honeybee population that can be easily done. One way is to stop using pesticides and insecticides that are harmful to honeybees. Another way to help honeybee from poor nourishment is to plant flowers that honeybee loves. But make sure the flowers are native to the ecosystem, and it's important that honeybees have a variety of food
It
can pollinate from. Not only that, plant the flowers in accessible location that benefits the honeybees, like on roadsides and flowerless field.
Honeybees are essential components to life on Earth as they play a vital role in pollinating 85% of the food we eat. That means 1/3 of the world's food supply depends on honeybee pollination, which makes them one of the biggest pollinators in the world. One might not realize their importance until they truly become extinct. If that were to happen, the production of different fruits and crops would suddenly decline tremendously. Which means there won't be any more coffee beans, cotton, watermelons, lettuce, and peaches. And that is only to name a few. After that, our own population will start to die off.
Daughter.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What did it cost?
Everything.
If we want to save ourselves from our own destruction and pain, we must prevent the most detrimental death of all by saving the honeybees before it becomes truly permanent.
Honeybees provide the world with colors and enjoyment that we take for granted every day. Even though honeybees are small, together in size they make a difference in the world. Like the effect of the human race.